Hi everyone, and welcome to We Meet Again's second ever video post. Today we'll be talking about pink slime, that phenomenon you might have been hearing about in food news lately. There's a lot of confusion surrounding pink slime, so I thought in today's video post we would cover some of the questions and concerns people have over it and try and explain it top to bottom, get the whole story. So the first question most people have with pink slime is, what is it? Where does it come from? How is it made? And how is it ending up mixed in with regular ground beef? So basically, the process through which pink slime is produced comes after the regular processing of an animal. After an animal is processed and trimmed into all of the parts that we would recognize in the grocery store, the carcass is cut into smaller pieces that can then be processed to remove any last little bits of meat that might be clinging to it. So the carcass trimmings are warmed and then spun in a centrifuge to remove the fat. Now this is why the beef industry calls pink slime lean, finely textured beef. Their argument is that by spinning the fat off like this, they're creating a leaner product of beef. But in the process of spinning in the centrifuge, lots of other little bits and pieces of the carcass get caught up, including slivers of bone, bloody effluvia, fat, sinew, etc. Now, the bone is pulverized to a mush, so there's no risk of choking or anything like that. But basically, all of this stuff that's left is formed into blocks and then frozen for later use, where it's sort of mixed in with regular ground beef. So you can see it's not quite as mysterious or scary a product as it sounds like, but neither is it just beef, as the industry would like us to believe. So then the next question is, why use pink slime at all? Why do we need it instead of just having regular ground beef? Now, some people, including the beef industry, would like to have us believe that this is their version of sustainability, of using the whole animal. And their argument is that using pink slime like this prevents them from having to slaughter more total heads of cattle to meet the demands for meat by Americans in this country. In fact, even Andrew Revkin, who's the environmental blogger for the New York Times, has said he's in favor of pink slime for this exact reason. Something like 1.5 million more head of cattle would need to be raised to fill the percentage of our beef consumption that is now filled by pink slime mixed in with regular ground beef. Of course, this is assuming that Americans would continue to eat the same total amount of ground beef, which environmentalists and nutritionists all agree is not in our best interest. It's not in the best interest of our hearts or our waistlines, but we'll save that for another time. So the real reason that pink slime took off in the 1990s is food safety, actually. So E. coli and other bacteria are found in high rates in the digestive tracts of cattle that are raised on a grain-fed diet specifically. So spraying the pink slime with a puff of ammonia gas kills off a lot of those pathogens. And the idea was then by killing the pathogens there and mixing that into regular ground beef, you would have a lower overall incidence of E. coli and Salmonella outbreaks. So then, if the reason for including pink slime in ground beef is ostensibly to make the ground beef safer, the next question becomes, is pink slime safe and is it healthy? There are really two different safety issues with regard to ground beef. The first is the chemical additives. That is the ammonia hydroxide that's added to pink slime in order to make it palatable to mix into ground beef safe for human consumption? According to the FDA, yes. There's no evidence to suggest that the ammonia hydroxide gas is in any way unsafe for humans to eat. Ammonia is only dangerous at extremely high levels far higher than are included in any pink slime or ground beef, and we would have to consume far too much ground beef for that to stay in our system. My take, though, is that I prefer my food without additive compounds. When I buy local, sustainable, grass-fed cattle, they don't need to add any chemicals to it to make sure that it's safe and free of pathogens. The cattle is healthy, so the beef is also healthy, and I think that's preferable. The FDA also is not, to me, the most reliable agency when it comes to food safety issues. The FDA still considers bisphenol A, or BPA, the estrogen-mimicking compound that goes into the making of lots of plastic products, to be safe. I know I begin to sound a little bit like a conspiracy theorist here, but the truth is the FDA is largely sort of funded and organized by the food industry, and so I'm not sure that I think they're considered completely reliable when it comes to food safety. It takes them a long time to determine that any chemical compound shouldn't be included in our food. But the second question is the beef itself safe? So is the beef free of harmful chemicals and pathogens, the E. coli and salmonella that we were trying to prevent in the first place? The answer for ground beef with pink slime is the same as the answer for any industrially produced ground beef. No. Despite the fact that pink slime is supposed to reduce the amount of dangerous bacteria, beef product testing results for E. coli and salmonella do not demonstrate any significant reduction in those bacteria presence. In fact, in a study done by the FDA from 2005 to 2009, beef product industries had a rate of 36 positive results for salmonella per 1,000 tests, compared to a rate of just 9 positive results for every 1,000 tests for the other suppliers of ground beef who did not use pink slime or any ammonia gas treatments. So the meat containing pink slime isn't necessarily any safer than other meat, and it may be less safe. But beyond that, I think it's important to recognize that safe doesn't necessarily mean acceptable. Safe just means it won't cause us cancer or any other serious side effects. But why consume pink slime if it's not necessary to? The truth is, pink slime is just a symptom and not the root problem of the food industry. Ammonia is just one of many chemicals in industrially produced meat, and the underlying conditions that produce bacterial infections like E. coli and salmonella are not going to go away just by eliminating pink slime. The solution then for us eaters to avoid pink slime and to avoid the larger problems is always the simple one. We should eat less meat overall, because if we do as a nation, then our livestock producers won't have to resort to these kinds of cost-cutting practices in order to keep their costs low in order to make a profit. And if we buy grass-fed, humanely raised, local sources of meat, we avoid the chemicals, and we help craft a smaller scale system of sustainable agriculture that doesn't need this kind of processing and treatment to produce healthy meat. The healthy meat is there from the beginning, from healthy living conditions. So that's the long and short of pink slime. I've provided some links at the bottom of this post that includes all the sources where I got the information from this post from, as well as some additional information that sort of extends this conversation a little bit. I hope you enjoyed our brief discussion of pink slime and that it wasn't overall too disgusting. As always, I'd love to hear what you think, so feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Otherwise, I'll see you all next week. Happy eating.